Okay guys, we're going to get started. Can you just do me a quick favor and type in the chat and just let me know that you can hear me? Just type a Y for yes or whatever you got there, just so that I know my sound is okay. I'm kind of getting a red flag on my streaming service right now, so I'm not sure if the data is coming out at a nice smooth stream or if it's a little bit garbled. So just let me know if you can hear me, please. I think our audio should probably be good. I'm just going to continue. So if I've got the chat box open here on another window, so if you can't hear me, then I'm just gonna give me 1 second. I'm just gonna double check. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we're gonna get started here. Welcome to our live trading session. If this is the first time joining us, you can find out who we are and what we do at f45trading.com. You can actually sign up to our website. You can check it all out, all for free. We do market analysis. We do upcoming weekly reviews of numerous different markets, Forex, commodities, and cryptocurrency. And also we do live signals, so you can take advantage of that. You can sign up to our website, check that out, all for free at f45trading.com. Or you can follow us on Instagram at Future45 Trade Signals. Highly recommend you go over there, check that stuff out as well too, because we post a lot of stuff to Instagram, and you get a lot of great content, a lot of great value there, and a number of studies that I do, and my analysis, and some of my other guys that work with me who do some market analysis. We post it all there, and just kind of give people a few insights and some tips and tricks on some of the stuff that we do and what we're looking for. So you can get some value out of that. So check that out on Instagram, and obviously Twitter as well too. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to do one quick note. And all right, let's get rolling here. So just wanted to start off with the US dollar index. If you haven't heard us before, I'm just going to throw this up in the corner here. We get most of our market bias from the US dollar index. It's kind of the king of currencies, and a lot of the basket currencies that we trade that have the US dollar index in it are affected directly from this. So we typically gauge the strength and weakness of the pairs that we trade off of the US dollar index. I actually don't trade this index at all. I've never placed a trade on this in my life. I don't do anything with it. I just gauge the strength and weakness of the associated pairs off of this. So just going to start off with a couple of levels here. So you can see we're in a very nice bearish trend on the US dollar index. It's been trending down ever since 2016, so you can see nothing much has changed there. Now we did just break this previous swing low right here, and I've got a couple of notes on the chart here, some areas where I think price could trade to next. I believe that we're going to continue going down for the next short term anyways, until at least this consolidation area in here, or maybe even this consolidation area down in here, and I'll just kind of mark those out a little bit. There's a bit of a consolidation area in here, and then another one obviously in this area here. So I think price could easily trade down to one of these levels. I'm not going to worry about these lower levels for now. We'll worry about these guys right here, but I believe that this 88 or 88.90, I like to kind of use round numbers when I'm trading. 88.90, that could get tagged next, but I believe that we're going to see possibly a slight uptick to finish off the week. I think price is going to do one of two things. So you see this low here at 90.79. Price just broke that, obviously. What are we, Thursday? On Monday's trading. or sorry, Tuesday's trading, it went down and broke that. And no, I'm wrong again. I'm sorry, guys. I just got to go back to my chart. That was last Friday. That was during all of the major news announcements last Friday. That price finally gave it up and broke through there. Now, if you look at my commentary from last Tuesday, so we do, if you're not aware, we do live sessions every Tuesday and Thursday. And starting next week, we're going to be doing another live session starting every Wednesday morning as well. And we typically like to stay up and trade the the London session from 12 a.m. midnight New York time to 1 a.m. New York time. And then that way we can kind of get a jump on price action for the day ahead, and you know, put any limit orders in if we see a trade that's taking place, or you know, take an active trade as it's happening, because a lot of trades go down to the levels that we like in during the London section. So we get on here for about an hour, hour and a half, and trade live. So if you've never been on that before, subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Just click the little button that you see down in the bottom there of our screen, somewhere down right in this area right here, and just click on subscribe, and then you can get instant notification when we go live for the future. So check that out. But anyway, back to the US dollar index. So again, I'm thinking price is going to do one of two things. We had a nice up day come back up here today, and it's cleared these highs. So if we go down to the hourly, we're going into Thursday trading right now. This is Wednesday, this is Tuesday, and then Monday, which was supposed to be a slow day because markets were typically were closed in the U.S. due to the Martin Luther King holiday, but you can see that had a nice downtrending day. So now we're back above the high on excuse me, on Monday. So I believe what's going to happen is on the weekly, you can see here, I think we're going to post, price came down, rejected, and now I think it's going to trade a little bit higher. So it you know, in terms of a candle, it could create a pin bar, or you know, a doji, something to that effect. I'm not a candlestick trader by any stretch of the imagination, but just to kind of give you an idea of what the week could look like. We could slam back up in here into Wednesday, back down into this low right here, maybe even higher. I like to trade from consolidation to consolidation. So you can see here we had a consolidation last week, and price could do one of these things. So it could basically break out from here, come up, and then resume lower. So this sort of idea here, where price started to break down, just took out the low here and rejected, traded back higher, and then fell over again. We could do something to that effect, or it may not be as deep. We could, again, just come right up to the low here, tag it, and then trade over and go lower from there. Now my first initial target is going to, on the downside, is going to be this 88.90. So that's what I'd be looking for into next week. And to finish off the rest of the month, you can see here, the month, we've got another week and a half of trading left. So we could easily get down to those levels by the end of the month. Now, with that being said, overall, so to kind of sum up our analysis on the US dollar index, overall, long term, we are bearish, and short term, we're moderately bullish, coming up to these levels here. And I'll actually throw another level on the chart here just to kind of throw it out here. This 91.53, and we'll just even that out right at 99.50, right there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Price could come down anywhere in that area, right here. So see the shaded area? That's kind of where I'm ascertaining the price is going to hit, stop, and then roll back over, if it even does it. Again, we did trade higher than the Sunday open. Now we're currently just trading a little bit above it right now. So we've reached that the open on Monday, so a candle. So typically what that means is we're going to finish the week off a little bit higher, and then the week has formed the low. The weekly candle has already formed the low, and now it's going to finish a bit higher. So again, it could be a doji. It could finish right on this level. It could trade up and come back down and finish right here. I don't know yet, so we'll see how that trades out, but I believe going into Thursday's trading, it's going to trade a little bit higher. So with that being said, I'm looking right now at the Euro USD on the daily, and this is one of the major currency pairs that we trade in correlation to the US dollar index. So I've marked a couple of areas on the chart here I think we're going to see price hit. So same sort of idea as the US dollar index, massive bullish trend, nothing's changed there, long-term bullish. I'm going to go out to a weekly. I've got some levels marked out on the chart here on the weekly that I think we could see. I believe, as I said before, I like to trade from consolidation to consolidation. Here's a nice little consolidating area right here. Price tagged on it. I think we're going to trade down short term and then resume. And I think we're going to be going for the some of the highs. These highs up in here. These highs up in here, I think, are suspect. I think we'll be looking at putting some long orders in once price breaks through this consolidation range. But that's down the road. That's going to be towards into next month there if we get continued bullish action on this currency pair. So short term, as I say, I think we're going to get a bit of a run up to 12200, and then I believe we're going to see price roll over. Now, actually, what I was going to do, I'm a little bit too close to the market right now in terms of my signal, but I was going to actually put out a pending order to go short at 12200. So what my thoughts are basically is if we're moderately, or sorry, I should say short-term bullish on the dollar index, meaning price may trade down into this level just a little bit, somewhere maybe, and I'll just mark this out real quick here so we can get some kind of an idea. Somewhere into, again, I like trading at round numbers. I believe price is a little more attracted to them. So let's just say, for argument's sake, we get this occur. Somewhere, either this line or this line, somewhere in that shaded area, and then price is going to do this. Well, the inverse is going to happen in the Euro USD. So what that means is we could do something kind of like this. Right? This is my target to the downside. I'm just going to get rid of these day dividers here. Make things a little bit easier. And so that's kind of what my trading plan is going to be. Now, what is going to negate this is if price continues to trade up and goes past 122.25. If we see price go any higher than that, it's going to want to come and resume its longwards bias and continue up and take out the highs of 23.22. So just watch out for that. But I see a convincing market break right here where price was trading, it was stretching, it was reaching, dropped back down, tried to push up again, took the highs, took all the buy stops up here, and then fell off. Tried to rally one more time, and now we're trading below this consolidation area in here. Now, below that consolidation, I mean, it's came down about 30 pips, and it's started to rebound just about at this consolidation area. So again, price could just chop as well too for the euro. Well, that could also be an option, and it could trade. There could be a better trade set up in the pound dollar, which I'll go over here in just a minute. But I think that again, short term, to finish out the week, see how we're below the opening, the Monday's candle there, or the weekly candle. This feed doesn't have a Sunday candle, just so you guys know, in case you're wondering. Everything starts on Monday, which is this day right here. But we're below, we traded below that level, and so typically when that happens, price trades up during the week, early to midweek, and then if it goes below, it's going to be a down close on the week. So this weekly bar right here that you see right here, one of two things is going to happen. It's either going to stay like a doji right here, or it's going to finish as a black candle. And I think it's going to finish, it's going to come down to 120.90 before it gets back down there. So that's kind of what my thoughts are on that. And again, I just want to have a peek at something here. And as I'm, just so you guys know, as I'm trading here, or as I'm doing this live, I'm also doing some on-the-fly analysis. I've gone through and I've marked up the charts a little bit, but sometimes I'll say some stuff that I'm just kind of thinking to myself. So if you're kind of wondering, what the hell I'm talking about, I'm just sort of talking to myself sometimes. So anyway, that's sort of what my thoughts are. Again, I'd like to take a sell limit order right here at pretty much market level, 122.00. If I see price trade above 122.25 up to 122.50, I'm going to cancel that idea and we'll switch to a long, and we'll get, when the market rolls back over to retest these lows down in here, that's when I get into a buy and then would take it long. But I prefer to sell on up candles. I mentioned that on the last session. Up candles are definitely the best, because you get the best value for your money, obviously. One second, guys. So I think that's what I'd like to do, but I'm a little bit close right now to market price. I could probably sell it right now, which I probably will. I've got another demo account set up, so this is all just a demo as well. That's what I should mention too. I didn't mention at the beginning, but everything I'm doing here is in a demo. There's no live trades. I'm not a licensed trade advisor. I'm not a I'm not a guru. I'm nothing like that. There's myself and a couple other traders, and we all know how to trade very, very accurately, very well. And we're basically just sharing our knowledge, not how to trade. We're not getting in any in-depth analysis on how to trade and why we're taking it at certain levels or anything like that. More so, this is all you're going to see from us, is just levels and, sell or buy levels, take profit levels, stop loss levels. That's sort of what I'm looking at, and that's what all you'll see from us. So if you do end up going to f45trading.com, you'll see one of our signals posted. That's all it is. It's just a chart. It's a quick comment, and it's levels, like you see these price tags right here on the chart. So that's all you'll see from us. Again, we're not licensed professionals. We're market traders. We've been all doing a combined experience of over 50 years of trading. So we really do know what we are doing. We've seen a lot of time in the markets, and so we're just sort of helping people who, either have analysis paralysis and can't make a decision one way or another, or who just don't have time to sit in front of the charts like we do all day, day in and day out. And this is our livelihood, so that's sort of what we're doing here. But we're not teaching you to trade. If there's some beginners out there, we'll help you. We'll help you along a little bit, familiarize yourself with the software. We did some educational videos on our website that you can check out for free. It's on our YouTube channel as well too. Just some real basic stuff on signal trade entry and navigating your way through MT4 and things of that nature. But we're not going to show you how to trade, because frankly it takes a very, very long time to learn how to do that, and really all it boils down to is just market experience and time in the market. So that's kind of what that is. But anyway, this is sort of what I'm looking at here, guys, for this one here. And you know what, now that I'm just kind of thinking about this, I think I might just bring that up just a hair, just to make sure that it doesn't want to do a quick pop. Sometimes you'll get a wick on a candle that'll maybe take you out. But I want to see if price does trade up to this 122.30 level. I want to see its reaction. If it stays there and it doesn't want to quickly reject, then we know we're going to have a continuation. It's going to come and take out these highs here. But if price wants to trade up, for example, anywhere from here to that level right there, we should start to see price just tag it and then drop in. And then that's where you'd get in sort of on that confirmation. So it's sort of what it is. It's sort of a consolidation, break out of that consolidation to a retest, and then you sell into that retest and expect price to come down here. So we'd be looking for about 100 pips, 110 pips. I have this 2090 level here. It could get lower. It could get much lower. We could come down back to this consolidation level here at 20, call it 2060, somewhere in and around there. But conservatively, I think that's a good target for a good day's trade. to look for. So again, I'll look at that. I just have to switch over to another trading account where my demo account is on. Again, this is a demo account, but I just use it for analysis purposes. I don't take any trades in this. I have another account that I use for that. So what I can do is I can switch over to that one here in a minute. I'll probably pop a market order in on a short, and we'll see how that one rides out for the next hour or so while I'm doing a live session here. So that is the Euro USD. Moving on, the pound dollar. Now this pair here, I've been bullish on this pair for a long time, and actually I was up in here. I was hoping, so this is going all the way back to September of 2017. The market was ripping higher up in here, and I knew we were going to have a retrace, and I wanted to get long, and I was actually hoping price was going to come down back into this consolidation area here, but it just sort of hit this level right in here, this 130.60 level basically, and it rejected from there, consolidated, rejected, and then traded higher. So I was hoping to get in and get some heavy longs in my personal trading account back down in here. As it sits, I opted out of it because this is just ugly trading in here. You know, and this went on for a couple of months there. So the pound dollar was definitely a little bit underpredictable in this area, but you can see the Euro USD. It actually trended quite nicely in that area. It was allowed to consolidate a little bit here, but then it was allowed to drop in and then rise back up, and it's been a nice bull trend market since then. But and the same with the pound dollar as well. It finally, once it broke out of here, it did that one of those breakout retest and then traded higher. Got a little bit soft into here, and then finally made a convincing breakout through here. So it's hit some pretty big levels. Looking at the weekly, the high of that candle is in at 139.42, so you could call it 139.40 for argument's sake. And that pretty much takes us right back up into this consolidation area right here. So this is, just in case you were wondering, this is that Brexit drop right here. Price screamed up above the market and then crushed down, and then dropped down a little bit more, consolidated. Now we've just been slowly trending up higher. So you can see this trend line here. And I think we could have a little bit further to go, but for the interim, I'm not necessarily bullish on this pair. I mean, again, it could want to get back up into these levels in here. So I'll just throw a quick sort of, it could want to see these levels in here for sure. And, you know, you could even, I'll just maybe throw a quick price chart in. So we could start to see some levels up in here being hit. But again, I won't know until price does a bit of a retrace, is what I'm thinking. So we really overextended and stretched out and crushed this high over here. I've been calling these highs for a while, but it came out and it just crushed that high and kept on chugging higher. I definitely don't want to get long here. You know, again, this is the weekly. This is kind of how the week has been panning out. So not quite as bullish, or sorry, as the Euro USD. These two kind of are trading in tandem, as you can see, with the bearishness of the US dollar. This one here definitely wasn't as bullish as the pound dollar, as you can see. So I think that this pair is going to be showing the strength, and I think we're going to see continued higher prices. Had a big rally today after market trading, and then it dropped down, and now it's been consolidating. To be honest with you, I want to see a bit of a pullback, a little bit more than what I see here, only because we had such a big couple of weeks, and we really cleared out some levels on the weekly area here, and again, we traded back into here, into these areas. I could be wrong. Price could keep just steamrolling straight up, but for now, I'm going to relax my bullish stance on the pound dollar, and I kind of wouldn't mind seeing it actually do this. come up to about, whoops, this area here, and then trade down. That would be what I'd be looking sort of for the end of the week. Now, the one thing we do as well too is we obviously trade via analysis and via technical indicators and things like that. And actually, just for the record, to let you know, you're never going to see, you know, a moving average indicator or an oscillator or a, you know, Williams percent R or any type of ridiculous indicator like that, overbought, oversold, nothing like that on my charts. We trade purely on price action and what price is done and where we believe the liquidity in the market is trading. So I kind of forget where I was going with that now, but what I'm suggesting here though is on the pound dollar that we could see a bit of bearishness short term before it continues its bullish trajectory. So anyway, with that being said, that is the pound dollar. I don't want to take a trade on the pound dollar, only again because it's seen such strength. I'd like to take a trade on the euro, and you can see prices starting to reject right there, so we'll see if that continues, if it wants to hold there or start pushing up and through. And I'm actually, give me a second here, let me just switch over while I'm thinking about it. Sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained tonight, guys. It's been an interesting week. A lot of trading, a lot of good stuff going on, but very, very busy and hectic. So this is my demo account here. So I actually just want to, I want to lock this in before I forget. I got trading, I remember last Thursday where I was trading, and I saw a signal on, I can't remember what it was. I think it was the euro as well too, last Thursday. And I was like, I'm going to take a long there, but I was too close to the market to put my limit order in, and it wasn't quite at the level that I wanted to get in at. Again, if I'm going long, I'm only buying on a down close candle. If I'm going to get short, I'm only going to sell on an up close candle. And at the time I was talking about it and doing my analysis, it was an it was a bullish candle, or sorry, it was a bearish candle, and I wanted to go long. So I was like, I'll come back to it in 15 minutes, and then I did something else, came back to it an hour later, and I missed the entry. So I want to actually do this now while I'm thinking about it. And this is just a demo account, guys. There's, I think, $5,000 demo money in this account, so this isn't live money or anything like that. I'd never do this with live money with my own personal account. But price is pretty much right at the level where I like it to be right now, so I'm just going to put a sell order in right now. I want to see what happens. I believe this thing's going to go down, and I want to target, my take profit was 190, and I'm going to put a stop loss, and I like to use a 30 pip stop loss on the majority of my trades. So we are 22, yeah, we'll call it about that. So right about in there, and that's sort of about the level that I was suggesting earlier, that if we were going to see price run up to, I want to see it reject off of there and not continue through. So that's a good sort of, you know, line in the sand, if you will, of price going up any higher from there. So I'm going to take that now, and then again, this is my target in here. And I believe price is going to finish somewhere in here. I think you know, it could come down and just tee right off of this and go back up, or it could want to come down and come down into this consolidation area in here, as I had mentioned earlier. So that will remain to be seen. I don't imagine that we're going to see the trade finish until probably well into the New York session. So you know, after about 8 o'clock a.m. New York time. I don't believe we're going to see this one finish, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I just want to get that in there because I have a tendency to keep talking and keep doing my market analysis, and I forget about it. And we're in an up close candle right now, or sorry, we're in an up candle right now. So there's definitely the best times to get in terms of the spread. You can see here, I've got a 3 pip spread in here. So if I'm going to go short, I'm going to try and get the best price at the market right now. So anyway, that's what we're doing there. So minimize that for now, and that's pretty much all my analysis on the US dollar, the euro, the pound dollar. I don't want to take a trade on this again because I think the trade is going to be in the euro for the short. The pound dollar, this could continue to see bullishness, or it could just chop sideways. Had a lot of price movements on Wednesday's trading. It had, I mean, this thing ran 180 pips, so sometimes after a big up day like that, you could start to see a consolidation day, and a day where they typically just hunt for stops. I typically don't like to trade after big days like that. So we'll leave this one alone for now. US CAD, I just wanted to touch base on quickly and just kind of show you some parallels that I've been drawing between the US CAD and the US dollar index. So obviously, the USD and the US CAD are obviously entwined, as every other currency basket with the US in it is. But you'll notice here that, I'm just going to flip back to this real quickly. You can see the continued bearishness in this pair here. So you can see that nice bearish trend took out this old low from back in September. That was September 8th. You saw this low, took that out, and we're probably going to see, obviously, our bearish continuance on this. But if you flip over to the US CAD, this kind of had me intrigued because you see this low over here that's posted, same time, September 8th, same low as the US dollar index, had the same retracement back up as the US dollar index did, right? Same retracement back up, but the US CAD has not seen the bearishness that the US dollar has, and it's a long ways away from this low back over here. So I'm kind of, you know, thinking that this bearish move on this is going to be suspect. And you know, unless this is you know, telling me something else, because you know, these two trade in tandem, obviously, just so you know. So the US CAD, it has the US dollar index at the front of the currency basket. So that means if the US dollar goes down, the US CAD goes down. If the US dollar goes up, the US CAD goes up. Again, this has been going down, but it has not seen the bearishness that the US dollar has seen. And it kind of posted a couple equal lows in right here. Been trading sideways. It's in a bit of a consolidation area. Just going to mark that on the chart right now. So again, I'm not taking any trades on the US CAD or anything like that. I just kind of find it interesting that it's made a false, sorry, it's not a false a low. It failed to get down past the previous low like the US dollar index did. So I'm kind of led to believe that maybe this thing isn't as weak as what it was led to believe, and we could see prices higher on this going forward. And we were actually, my analysts, we were looking at, see these two equal highs up here. For the longest time, we were actually looking at these two, these areas up here getting taken out. So we were looking at taking the longs down into these positions. We got some nice longs off in here. We didn't see the continuance up into these levels that we would have liked to see. And then price fell off, and now we're back in this consolidation area. So kind of going out into the long term, I would suggest that price would be more than likely willing to come back up into these areas up in here. The 126.50 level, I believe, could be a target sort of short to mid-term for the US CAD, and that's you know, that's a ways away. I mean, we're trading right now. I mean, that's a couple hundred pips away, so that'd be a nice sort of weekly haul to get on the US CAD if you could even take a long down here. I'm not suggesting you do it now. I'm just saying it was just kind of interesting that the US dollar made that low and this did not. So where my eyes are going are right here, right up into this level, right above this massive consolidation level. There are a ton of stops that short sellers have put right above here. And I think that the market makers are going to jam price right above here and grab all of that. And then I think the next area obviously is going to be, whoops, I think the next area that price is going to hit is tag up into here, up into this, up into this area right in here, up into this consolidation area. So that's kind of where my prediction for the US CAD's going. Now, the one thing that's going to change that is the strength of crude oil. Canadian dollar, so Canada, one of its major export resources is oil. And if oil is ripping up, like you can see here, so this is the weekly on oil. Oil has been in a massive bull market. I shouldn't say massive. I mean, it's rebounded off its low of $24 a barrel, and we're now trading at right around 60. What are we trading at? What did oil hit today? $64, a high of 67. A high of almost $65. So we've been in a nice bull market. So what my point on this is, the U.S. CAD is tied in with crude oil. And if crude oil is going to go up, it's not necessarily going to allow the US CAD to go up either, because it's going to strengthen the currency. So the stronger oil means stronger US CAD, so we could see the market drop. So that's kind of the only thing I was thinking here, and that's, I believe, why we've seen this bit of a drop right here, just on the strength of crude oil right here. You can see this push up here. So that's sort of my thoughts on that. Anyway, crude oil being one of the currencies that I do trade on a regular basis, and I send signals out for crude oil. So just in case you were wondering, F45 trading, we send out signals on the Euro GBP, the Euro USD, the pound dollar, US CAD, the Aussie USD, crude oil, S&P 500, gold, copper, the US yen, and the US Swissy, and I'll do some analysis on, you know, sugar, cotton, cocoa, which I'm going to go through here at the end of the session, and then Bitcoin. I'm actually on cocoa. I'm going to show you here a bit of a live trade that I actually took that went really, really well. I just took it last week, so I'm going to discuss that just a little bit here, because you can actually make a lot of money on commodity trading. So anyway, back to oil. I'm very, very bullish on oil. I think that the price suppression on this commodity has come and gone. I identified these areas of these highs over here months and months and months ago. Price steamrolled right through that. I mean, I was quite impressed. Like, I thought price were going to see a big retracement when it came up and hit these bearish candles in here. I thought we were going to retrace all the way back down into $50 a barrel, and it just steamrolled up, took out those highs, and it looks like it's going to keep going. So the next level on my charts that I'm thinking, if price doesn't consolidate in this area here at $60 to $65, excuse me, I think price we're going to see into the 70s by the end of the first quarter here of 2018. I think they're just they've suppressed it for long enough, and it's got a long ways to go to get back up into these levels here. So I think we're in a nice bull rally for the for crude oil. So whoops, sorry guys, I just flipped my Skype open there. Didn't mean to do that. Anyway, that's crude oil. I mentioned this on Tuesday. I usually put a signal out for crude oil weekly, one a week, get a nice little pip haul of 50 to 100 pips easily on crude. I did not put a signal out on it because, again, it took out those old highs that I was talking about over here, just rammed right through them. So I haven't put one out for this week. I wanted to see a retracement, and we're into Thursday's trading now. We did see that retracement on Tuesday, but because there was a U.S. holiday, I didn't really want to take a long here, because I thought we may see price come down into this consolidation level down here. So down here at $62 a barrel. I was hoping that price would have came down to there, because then I would have got all over that with some longs and then and rode that up. But for now, it was a nice convincing down candle, and we're going to see what happens here. Price so far, I'm just going to drop down to an hourly. Price so far has been consolidating since the end of last week and into this week. Took out the high of last week, obviously just barely, and then it's come way down again and stopped at 63, call it 30. So crude oil, again, I want to see a bit bigger of a drop. There's some areas down in here that I like, that I mentioned on the daily, down at 61, 62. So let me put it this way, to kind of summarize this real quick for you. If price comes down and hits this level right here, I'm getting all over it with a ton of longs. Yeah, I hate it when it does that. 62. If I see price do that, I'm going to get in with a number of longs right here. It doesn't necessarily even have to hit 62 even. We could kind of come up into this trading area, into the top of this consolidation level right here at 62.30, 62.50 even. Somewhere in that range, I would be taking longs. Don't want to buy it up here. You might get a few pips. Price may come up, spot her up, and take out the highs, wick down. But it's either going to do one of two things. It's going to consolidate a bit here. It's going to drop down to this buy level in here, And then eventually I'm going to get all over it with longs, and I'm going to be targeting the 73 level. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on crude oil. Moving on, like I say, another one of my analysts does the S&P 500. So watch for those signals to come out. Join our website for free. Again, like I say, you'll get signals on S&P 500. He does those. I'm not going to talk about it here today, other than we've all seen the S&P 500. This thing has been on an insane rip. I used to trade this back when price was predictable and it was kind of down in here, and it would retrace and then go long and retrace and go long. I'm never going to short this, obviously, until we see the big one drop coming. But, like, very easy, predictable to go long back down in here. Now, I mean, price has just been screaming higher. I mean, I don't see a whole lot. I mean, basically, you just take any old retracement anywhere and go long. You know what I mean? And this was actually a signal that my analyst put out earlier this week right here. This is a nice signal that we got in, and then price double topped, and now we're kind of sitting in limbo right now. So anyway, if you're an S&P trader, sign up to our website, because you'll get some great insight from another analyst on this pair who he watches this daily and trades it. So I don't do this myself personally anymore too much. So you can check out that on our website. The last one or two here I want to talk about, so I'm just going to flip back to this Euro trade to see how that thing's panning out. Yeah, it's still kind of hovering around that 2200 mark. See, when price hovers there like that, and it doesn't, and then we're on the hourly, obviously, I can drop down to a 15-minute, but you can kind of see what I mean here. Like, prices come up, wick, sort of dropped down a little bit, gained a little more strength, came up, took out the highs there, wick. I don't know. It's when price stalls like that, so I like to see that, because I think it's going to roll over. Either that or just a one quick stab up and then a drop into it. That's great as well too. So we'll see what this wants to do. It may just start to roll over here before too long. Actually, that reminds me. So in addition to that's where my train of thought was going about 10 minutes ago. I mentioned that we don't use any indicators or anything like that. For technical analysis, all we use is purely price action. What I meant to follow that up with was we also use fundamental indicators as well too. So what the news events are. So I'm just going to real quickly bring up a website, and everybody knows this, I'm sure. If you're doing any sort of trading, you should know about Forex Factory. Look at the news events for the week coming and trade the volatility on that. So there's a couple of things on the US dollar at 8:30, high impact and several low impact, and then we've got crude oil inventories. And this is actually crude oil on Thursday. This is where, flipping back to that chart, that crude oil, I mentioned I want to see this thing come down to this level. I don't necessarily think that just crude oil inventories are going to drive it down to here. But we could see lower prices with those inventory numbers come out. Or what they like to do is they like to just kind of drift it lower, and then the crude oil numbers will come out, and then they'll spike it higher. And you can get in on those as well too, if you know the overall bias of what that commodity is going to do, or that particular market's going to do. But anyway, just flipping back here quick. So we do have some US dollar index news, and then here we are right here. We have some news come out, medium impact news on the euro. So this is interesting. This is coming out here at 3 a.m. We're now approaching 1 a.m. New York time. So 2 hours from now. So if I flip back to the chart, go back to the euro. This could be what sends us. Price could just sit there and chop for the next 2 hours. That news event will be the driver, and it'll either do one or two things. It'll kick it up higher, take out the stop that I put in, up into this kind of consolidation level up in here, and kind of these lows right in here I'm looking at as a potential for it to roll over, or it's going to spike it through, or it's going to drop it right from there. Those news events will be the catalyst. It'll click in, and it'll start falling out of bed, and then it'll hit down to these numbers here that I outlined. So one of two things are going to happen. I do like the fact, though, like I say, it sort of chopped sideways, took out the highs over here, failed to take out those highs, and now we're trading lower from Monday's open. and I want to see that continue down into here. So that's where we're going with that. But anyway, moving on, we talked about crude oil. And again, guys, if you have a question on any of this, I've got the my questions comments box up here. If you have a question, if you're not sure anything, if you want me to analyze something in more detail, I know there's one or two of you on here that are looking for Bitcoin. I'm going to do that here in a second. If you have a question, you want me to go through something in a little more detail or anything like that, just post it in the comments there, because I got them sitting up there. So every couple minutes I'll look over, and if you got something, I'll try to do my best to answer it. So moving forward here, I want to talk about copper, only because this commodity has caught my eye as of late because of the nice bull market that it's been in since June of 2017. You can see here, price had a nice healthy run, small retrace, took out the highs, and then had a real nice retrace in here. And I was calling lows in here back up here. So it took out this high back in October. You can go back to videos from October that I have in my market analysis section of our website in our archives, and you can see I've talked about these levels down in here. See the shaded area in here that price is going to get down to, and I was going to get on longs, and it was going to trade higher, and that's exactly what it did. Price rammed up. I mean, it was like a 400 pip run, huge movement, and now it's taking off the highs, and now we're starting to slowly drift south. I believe we're going to see higher prices on this going forward, but we're definitely going to see a bit of a retracement. And I was talking about this, I believe, on last Thursday and on Tuesday's session. So I'm just going to switch over to an hourly here. So price has been doing this. So this is crap right here. So just so you know, I'm not in here trading this. This is garbage. However, what I was looking at was price to do this. See the spike right up in here? See the spike up in here? Spike up in here? I was looking for price to do that and to key off a couple of specific levels in here that, again, I'm not going to go through. But I was looking for shorts in there because I knew, right, like I mentioned, price traded up, took out all of the liquidity above the market, and now we're going to start to trade softer. I don't know how low it's going to go. That's why I have 4 areas on here marked out, and this sort of, you know, this trend line down and then up to kind of give you an idea what I'm talking about here. We're trading right now at the 316.50 level here. I think we're going to keep going a bit lower, and that just takes us down into the high of this consolidation area right here. But I was talking about it last Tuesday and last Thursday of last week. I wanted to see price spike up so we could get short, and that's exactly what it did. So it did this initial spike right here 2 weeks ago, and then this was, so Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, this was Friday's trading in here. So last Thursday I spoke about this, and I said I want to see price, I wouldn't go short here because there's too much chop in here. I want to see price run up, take out all the guys going short up in this area here, and then drop, and that's exactly what it did. Like the very next day, the Friday, which is crazy. I didn't think it was actually going to happen that day, but it took it out on the Friday, and that's what you saw there. Got all over the shorts, and price dropped nicely the next day, and this was Monday. So I'm sorry guys, that was Monday's trading that it did that. It spiked up and then crushed back down, and here we are on Thursday's trading here. So Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday had such a nice drop. So anyway, long story short, I believe it's still going to go lower. I'm looking at for sure between these two here would be kind of an area I'd be looking at price to reverse potentially, because it did, whoops, sorry about that, because it did have a failure swing. So you see here price ran up, and again it's creating higher lows as it's going up, higher low, and I'll just mark these out, right, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, right? I think the same thing's going to happen continuing to go up again, and I think we're going to come in here and create another higher low, and I think it's going to be somewhere, look, let me put it this way, if it gets below this level right here, if it gets below the $3 mark, it's going to go even lower, and we're going to switch our bullish standpoints to bearish because it's going to start taking out these lows here now and soaking up some of the liquidity there. So that's the line in the sand right here, this guy right here. So if price goes any lower than this, I'm not interested in going long anymore. However, in term, I think, again, just kind of coming back to this higher low theory, I think this thing could post another higher low somewhere, you know, in this area in here. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for the copper here. So I'm looking at shorts right now for the short term, for a bullish standpoint long term. So that's what I'm looking at. To sum it up quick on copper. Now, someone had asked about the US yen. I just want to talk about this real quick. I'm going to look at wrapping up this session here in the next, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 minutes. So just in case you guys were wondering how long I usually go, typically don't do more than an hour and a half. You know, keep it short, concise. If I can do it in an hour, great, but we're starting to creep up on that mark now, and I got just a couple other pairs I want to talk about. The US yen I'm going to do right now. I'm going to talk just real briefly about sugar, cotton, and then Bitcoin. Obviously, we all want to know where this one's going. So I'll talk about this one here, and I'll do that right after the US yen. And then I want to talk about cocoa quickly. So US yen, just real quick. Price has been on a nice bearish retreat here. I don't particularly trade the US yen. I don't like it all that much, and you can see why. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like these are big price swings. Like this is a 600 pip price swing, you know, up and down each time. I just don't necessarily. But it's been sideways. I mean, you can clearly see. I mean, it's been a sideways market since early 2000, since January of 2017. So for a year now, this thing's been trading in consolidation. And we're right about the 50% range of that trading consolidation. So you can see here, we're hitting right about that 50% range. We're right in the middle of the range. So you can trade consolidations. I trade consolidations all the time and very profitable by getting long down here, getting short up here, no problem. But when price is right in the middle of this consolidation range, that's garbage. I mean, I'm not interested, and that's not a high probability trade in my opinion. You know, there are certain key indicators and factors for sure. I'm sort of looking at one right now where price may be hitting an inflection zone. So we're kind of looking at this and saying, well, you know, maybe because we are coming up to the 50% level and price rejected off of this. And what I look for in trading consolidations is support and resistance levels, you know, to try to put it as simply as I possibly can. But you've got a support level down here. I'm actually going to put it more so right here because there's a little more confluence there. One up here, obviously, and you got a couple in the middle, and you got one pretty much right where it's trading at right now. So you can see what I mean by that. So I'm just going to change this line here to a different color so you can see what I mean by this. But I'll just change it to, I don't know, blue. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to get rid of this consolidation box right there. So price is bullish here, traded up through that area, and I'm talking about we'll call it for argument's sake, the 111 big figure, okay? Price traded up and through it, didn't look back, came back down to it once right down here, traded away from it. And then price meandered sideways for a while, then dropped back into it again, and it traded in that 111 big figure area again for a little while in here until it finally decided to drop through, came back up, traded through it, steamed through it. It actually spent a little bit of time in here, powered back through, came back up to the resistance level, traded back down into that 111 area, and again, chopped sideways. Traded down and through, hit the support level, traded back up, traded through it once, came back, retested, traded off, right back to the support resistance level, came back down, and again, it traded 1, 2, 3, 4 times at that 111 level, traded back through it, and then came back up to again and started hitting it as resistance 1, 2, 3, 4 times, traded down, back up to it, down, not quite on this one here, traded through, took up the all of the sell stops down under this low here, took those up, soaked it up the liquidity, rammed it up through, took the liquidity above here, as you can see here, quick rejection, traded through that level, came back down here again, 111, big figure, traded off of it, traded through, and now we're back at this friggin' 111 level. So again, that is the 50% range of this consolidation level. So for whatever reason, price is very, very attracted to this level. And from there, we have absolutely no idea where price is going to go. If I had to answer it right now, I would be more so on the short side of things on this. And only because of the US dollar right now, because we have seen such bearish price action in the US dollar, it's rolling over and doing that. The first currency in that basket is the US dollar. So whatever the US dollar does, this typically does. You know, for the most part again. But we failed to make higher highs here. So the market came down, it took out these lows here, screamed higher, took out the liquidity up here and rejected. It didn't want to continue higher. So if it's not going to continue higher, that means it's looking for price below the market again down here. I don't know if it's going to get down to this level or not. You know, again, price could just keep bouncing around this consolidation level here. I don't know. But I'm a little bit more inclined to say that it's going to be bearish at its current level right now. But it is right at this 111 big figure level. So again, you got to look what's happened at that level. Go back through time and look. Price bounced in here, up, down, up, down, up, down. Finally traded down. Price came back up, down, traded up, came back down. Huge consolidation area. I'm not going to go through this again, but you can see what I'm driving at here. So what price could do right now, it can do, I think personally it's going to go further down from here. But before it does that, it could sit here and chop sideways for, you know, a week. It could do, right? I mean, look how long it's spent here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trading days before it finally traded out of that. And then it came right back up into it again a week later. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things. I wouldn't, if you are trading the US yen, I would, highly recommend staying out of the US yen until it gets to one of these extremes. So until it gets up to this 11400 level or down to this 108 level, I would be shorting it at 114 and I would be going long at 108. You know, not exactly, obviously, you got to watch what price is doing. You know, it could come down and wick down here to 106, and you don't want to be long at 108 and have a 200 pip, you know, swing against you, obviously. But what I'm saying is price is more likely to react and rebound at these two levels here. So I would be more inclined to go one way or the other at those two levels. Right when price is trading at this blue line right here, I am more so on the stance of sitting on my hands and waiting for price to trade up to one of these levels and then trading off the reaction of those levels. That's my opinion on the US yen. Again, you know, price traded back down and through. You could use this as a catalyst of lower prices, and that's kind of why I think, because price took the came up rejected off of here and then traded softer. And this could just be a short retrace down here. You know, do what you want. Don't let me stop you, obviously. I think it's bearish, personally, just based on what I just said. But, I mean, it could want to come all the way back up to 112 before it decides to turn bearish. It could turn bearish right here. You could chop sideways for 2 weeks before it turns over. Don't like it where it is right now. Again, not going to trade it, not going to recommend anything. So that's sort of my stance on that. I will check this. I'll put this back because, again, I don't know if a lot of you guys trade the US yen. I got a request on it last week, or maybe it was on Tuesday, to analyze it. So I don't know if a lot of you trade this or not, but I'll throw it into my regular analysis for my live sessions, and I'll just run through it briefly. And again, if price trades up to this level, I might be interested in taking a short, and if it trades down here, I might be interested in taking a long. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, just moving along. I'm going to skip these two for now. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin. I had some questions earlier today from somebody on Twitter who was wondering about what was going on with this one. I believe they had said they'd actually taken a short position on it, which, you know, good for them. I mean, if you got in, I think they were saying they did it. Let me just pull in here. I think they were saying they did it somewhere up in this area in here, I think. What is price the high at the 11,700? I think they said they had gone short, so good for them if you can get a nice 80 pip run on that. Great. That's a nice trade. Personally, so I'm gonna rip over here to the daily. So just so you know as well too, the way I trade, I do very, very little trading off of, I don't do anything off the 1 minute. I'll tell you that right now. You can't trade unless you're doing ultra quick scalping. I don't touch the 1 minute, and I'm not a scalper. I don't do ultra quick scalping. I don't trade off the 5 minute. I'll use it for analysis sometimes to kind of drill down into specific price action moves in here and there. But for the most part, I get all of my bias off the monthly, the weekly, the daily. As always, I'm sure I'm not the first one to say that. And then I'll take my entries off usually the 4 hour or the hourly chart. What I'm looking for with my trades is high probability. I'm not scalping. The shortest trade duration will be a 1 day trade. I've got some commodity trades they'll last for months on end, and that's typically how I trade, high probability, and that's what I'm looking for. You get a higher probability trading at a higher time frame, and that's all there is to it. It's as simple as that. So with Bitcoin, you can see price. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard about Bitcoin, and it's how bullish it is, and how this is going to be the next, I don't know, 3x or the next best thing since sliced bread, something like that. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I personally believe, and again, I've been watching the markets for over half of my life. I think that the amount, the type of currency that countries currently use to conduct business, to buy and sell goods, to trade with, that they put their faith in is a joke. I mean, it's fiat money, and we all know this, and they manipulate it. It's they print as much as they want, and they do whatever the hell they want with it. They they tighten lending policy, they loosen it, and I mean it's ridiculous. Going to the wave of the future, what I'm kind of driving at here is this Bitcoin, obviously, with the blockchain technology, is obviously a way where you can track all the transactions and guarantee security and safety, and there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. I think there was only 21 million actually ever put into circulation, so the banks can still manipulate this, don't get me wrong, and I can see manipulation happening in it since last year. And you can see this decline that we're seeing in Bitcoin right now, this guy right here, this decline is manipulation happening, pure and simple. If it wasn't, because you think about it, everybody and their dog has been talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, buy, it's going to keep going. There's guys out there talking that Bitcoin's going to go up to 100,000. It may do that. I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, obviously, but so far it's seen a fairly meteoric rise. I mean, it's from almost nothing to almost 20,000. I mean, pretty incredible. But then you see this happening, and again, what I'm driving at here, if there wasn't manipulation present, this would have screamed through 20,000. There's lots of people out there, hedgers, day traders, things like that. For sure, they're getting on it, they're driving it up, and 20,000 is a big psychological level, and everybody's selling there. But to see this level of selling, forget about it. There is no friggin' way that Joe Schmo, who heard about Bitcoin from the guy who was bagging his groceries and decided to buy some up in here, was selling up at this level here. Big institutions were selling. That's what drove this price down. And they're driving it down for a reason, because this is too expensive. They don't want, it's the same thing as me. I don't want to buy Bitcoin up at this level here. There's no value in it. Unless price is going to go to 50,000, which I would be highly suspect of a big, deep retracement before that ever happened, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Banks are looking at this, and so they're saying there's no way in hell we're buying it up here. So what can we do? Let's short the hell out of it, drive the price down, manipulate it to a level that's more, fundamentally sound, a more, whatever you want to call it, an algorithm out there that's, technically loves a specific area and what have you. But that's what I believe what we've been seeing occurring here with this. Because otherwise, again, you talk about the sentiment. Everybody's got Bitcoin on the tip of their tongue. They're all talking about buying this thing. Nobody's talking about selling it. So how the hell do you explain this? I mean, price almost hit 20,000, and now we're trading just a little above 11,100. So anyway, that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. I think we're going to keep going lower. Now, what I think is going to happen here, short term, I definitely don't think they're going to keep this artificially suppressed for long. And who knows? This was it. This could have been the dump lower. All the banks got in on this, and we're going to see it scream higher. But before it does that, it's going to come back down and it's going to recheck. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Retesting levels. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to write myself a little note. Right up here, because I want to come back to this idea right here and give you my thoughts on this. Just going to grab a sip of water. So when price was chopping around in here, my eye went right to this wick right here. This was all manipulation. This was banks. And this was December 23rd. I mean, yeah, you may have had some people having to sell their Bitcoin in order to buy presents for their kids, for sure. But this was a crazy drop. I mean, from 19,000 to 11,000, like it dropped this thing at $9,000 in the matter of 4 days. You know, hitting the high right before Christmas like that. I don't think that was an accident. You know, hitting the low on the 22nd. So price came down. They tried to do a rally back up. The rally failed, and now we're down below this low right here. They took it today. This was Wednesday's candle, and this is Thursday right now. So I think what we could see happen, plain and simple, real easy, could see something like this. Now with Bitcoin, it's super volatile, so you know, I'm not gonna suggest, if price trades up there, like I'm not about to suggest taking any longs on this. Right now, I am short-term bearish on Bitcoin, long-term bullish. Like I think by the end of 2018, this thing probably will be around 30,000 or 40,000 or God knows what level on it. I think it's gonna be a lot higher than what it is right now, that's for sure. And you can actually see, unfortunately, my chart doesn't go past May of 2017, but there was some charts that I was looking at earlier this week, and if you actually look at them, Bitcoin does a nice, healthy retracement since I think about 2013 is the data that I had saw going back. It does a nice retracement at the beginning of the year. So, you know, December, January, and then February, it starts to resume its upward trend. That's kind of what I'm looking at here as well, too. So the rest of the month, like I say, short term, bearish. I think this price is going to come down. We're going to come down under 9,000, and I've actually got my level in here. I think it's going to return down to this consolidation level right here. You see this low right here? You see how they came down, pierced it here, and then rejected and came back up? I kind of think something like this is going to happen. And now I could be wrong, and I could be wrong. When I say I could be wrong about this lag right here. So I'm just going to... So this blue line right here, that may not happen. That, like, you look at the top of this wick here, and that may be the only retracement that we're going to see. Created these equal highs right here, right? Come on, you son of a... Sometimes these trend lines are working at this fine of a detail. So price may have come up, created these equal highs here, and then we may just start trading softer. 100% this thing's going lower. I mean, it's going lower, and it's going to hit one of these two levels right here. Now there are levels below that, right? I mean, there's a level down here, obviously, that price could see back down to this consolidation again. They came, they bought it on the return back down to this consolidation level, and price screamed higher from there. I think we're returning to this consolidation area in order to do the same thing. So I think you're going to see institutions picking up a lot of long orders right here. And I don't know if it's going to go long back up to 20,000 from these areas here. But my call right now, and I've been calling 1100. God, I mean, ever since this happened. So when the hell did this happen? That was the December 22nd, 23rd, right before Christmas, starting January. So we're now the 17th of January after I did this crap here. And you can go back to my analysis video of market and review on, I did that thing on January 1st or January 2nd. It's on my YouTube video. What did I say on there? I've got 1100 marked out, and price slammed down there today. So you know, it's not an accident. I didn't magically pull that number out of my hat and you know, make a guesstimate. I mean, it's price hit that, and it hit it for a reason. It's a lot of liquidity down here, and I think there's more liquidity to soak up down in these levels down in here as well too. So my prediction going forward, it almost hit it today actually. I mean, it like very convincing. I almost hit it. The candle closed right there, so let's see that blue line there. That's where the candle closed today. Stabbed down, rejected, and finished higher on the day. And again, in terms of retracement, maybe we've seen all the retracement we're going to see, and then price is going to start rolling over. I wouldn't mind seeing it come back up to this 12,750 level. That'd be great, because I'd get in on a short for sure right there, and then see the market drop down. You know, maybe even up into here, right at the bottom of this consolidation. Like you see this is when price is up here, support, you know, trade away, support, broke through. Now it's going to be resistance. We all heard that old adage. There's a lot more to it than that, obviously. But for simplicity's sake, I would suggest that price is going to go somewhere in there, in this 1275 area to 13400 area. That would be my prediction if price does want to continue upwards for the rest of the week, start to roll over into next week, and then come back down. Hell, Bitcoin's so friggin' volatile, I could do that tomorrow. I could slam up and then slam back down. I mean, you never know, but that's my prediction for Bitcoin. I don't necessarily think it'll get down to this blue line down here, this 5,000 level. It could. I mean, again, you got to watch what price does right in this level right here. So I'm just going to borrow this guy here. So when price gets into this level right here, and I say when because it's going to happen, when price gets into this area here, you got to watch what it does. If it does something like this, and it wicks into it, and it's going to happen quick. So I mean, good luck getting on a long on it, unless you put a limit order in down right now. And even then, I'd be suspect getting it picked up, because sometimes it happens so quickly. But if price hits this level and rejects, we're going to go higher. And they may have just run out these this consolidation here to pick up the all the stops, and then it's going to run. But watch what price does. If it starts to sort of meander a little bit and think about things and poke down a little bit, it's just going to go lower. You don't want to be short when it does that, so you just got to watch what price happens with price. But I think for the rest of the month anyway, and for sure into next week, I think we're going to hit these levels in here. So that, my friends, is my thought on Bitcoin. I see you guys are lighting up the questions today, so if you have anything, like I say, let me know. I'm pretty much wrapped up anyway. I'm going to have a quick look at this fiber trade that I put up. This price is pushed up a little bit higher up into the bodies of these this consolidation area in here. See how it's kind of stopping though? Wick. We'll see. I like the trade short on this one here though. I think price is going to start eventually falling out of bed. Like I say, it may take that news event as the catalyst to start driving it down. And that's going to come up in a few hours. I won't be around for that, unfortunately, but I think that's what's going to happen. And a 30 pip stop, so it's I mean, we've got a potential for a 110 pip, so it's almost a 4-to-1 risk to reward trading ratio, which isn't too bad. I definitely like to do that. I wouldn't do any less than obviously 2-to-1 risk to reward to risk. So just keep that in mind when if you're taking any signals that I'm putting out. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I was going to touch real quickly. If there's any commodity traders, you're going to appreciate this. This is the sugar market. I want to see what price does right here. If price does this, kind of what it did here, wick down and then slowly just kind of come down and then hammer up, I'm going to be looking at getting some longs in on sugar. I got to have a look at the seasonality, or sorry, the seasonal trend on sugar and what the overall market bias is. But I would be very interested in taking some longs here. So what price did, I'm just going to get rid of this level here. What price did is it came up very briefly. Went, I think, 1 pip higher. So this is 0.15, 15.13.4 is the high, and 15.12.1. So literally 1 pip, dink, and then it rolled over. Very interesting. So they're driving this lower. So I want to see what happens. They're driving it lower for a reason. Either A, this commodity is falling out of bed and the demand for it's going down, so the price is going to go along with it, and they're going to be looking for lows down here. I'm going to switch this back to red. It shows up better. Or number 2, they've come back down just to grab the liquidity under here before sending it back up and taking these guys out. So I'm very interested in this. I'm going to be looking at this very closely going into next week to see what it wants to do. And again, I'm not, I put limit orders in for most of my trades, so I don't have to be in front of my computer. There is nothing worse. Seriously, there is absolutely nothing worse than sitting down, analyzing a market, getting it right, figuring out exactly where it's going to go, putting all your levels in, and walking away because price isn't at your level yet, forgetting about it. 2 days later, the trade goes down to your level and it does exactly what you want it to do, and now it's well into profit and you've missed your opportunity. It's happened to me before. I hate it. I always trade with pending limit orders, buy limit or sell limit orders, and on my trades for that exact reason, because there is nothing worse in trading than that. I'd rather get stopped out, honestly. Like, I would rather be in a trade and that trade goes against me and no, I'm wrong, my analysis was incorrect, so I can go back and I can learn from that mistake, than missing an entry. I mean, that just drives me absolutely crazy. So anyway, long story short, sugar, I'm looking actually for price to rebound back up in here. I was talking earlier about trading in a consolidation. This is how you trade in a consolidation. You go along here, but you got to watch price. You don't want to just do it immediately and go long just at any point in time, because it could be wanting to come down for this low down here, and that's going to blow you out. That's going to blow your stop out. So you want to watch what price is going to do. Now, that just reminded me right here. See this retest? So what I mean by that, price comes to an inflection point, a level of change, a reversal level, whatever the hell you want to call it. Price will typically want to trade away from that level, and then it will eventually come back down to it one more time. Maybe not right at that entry level. So, for example, just using Bitcoin as an example, when I said the break and retest, we got this consolidation level in here, and then price traded away. So everyone's sitting there kicking themselves, saying, "Ah, shit, I should have went short on this pair. I knew it was going to break down." And price traded away, and a lot of people will start to chase the trade. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, short, and then price will do this and it'll reverse and it'll take them out." And they're wondering what the hell happened. It's because you're chasing price. You cannot chase price. So what I'm more inclined to do is watch for big money to move the market in one direction and then come back. And what they typically like to do is bring the market back up to almost the same inflection point of where you saw the reaction happen, and then drop it again from there. So it's just a simple consolidation trade to a breakout retest is really all it boils down to. Very simple trading. Back to the sugar, that's what I'm looking at here. If price does go into back into a long, so what I think happened is they whipped it down to take out the stops, and I think they're going to start sending it higher. But before they rip it higher, what they'll typically like to do is they'll do a retest, and you can see right here, that was their retest. Okay, so it doesn't look like it here, but the price came down, basically created another low. So if I just go back one, price came down, wicked into it, came down 1, 2, 3 times, and Now you'd be thinking it was going to go lower, but then it just took the liquidity right here on the bottom of this candle right here, and then it's shot it higher on this candle right here. This is where you're going to see that retest. I can't, no, actually maybe I can. I don't want to go into this in too much detail, guys, but this is just to kind of prove a point of what I'm talking about. Right there. So you see here, they jammed price down, and then it gapped up. And that's the signal. That big gap right there, boom, they gapped it out and price traded back down here nicely. That's where you get long, right in those areas right there. Not down here, because I don't know if price is going to roll over and go short. Right here, and then price screamed out of it there. And again, once price gets up here, I mean, you could go long, you could go long back down on this candle over here when it comes back down to retest this consolidation level in here for sure. But the real trade was right back down in here, and that's where the money's made. So that's what I'm looking at here for sugar going forward. I want to see what price does right down here. But overall, ultimately, I'd like to see this as well. Now, there's a couple other things I need to analyze on sugar, because frankly, I was just waiting to see if price was actually going to do this. I thought it was actually going to fall short, come up into really this area, kind of, you see this, how this candle wicked down right here. I was kind of thinking that was going to be it, and then it was going to resume higher. But it pushed down the past 2 days to take out these lows under here. So this has got my interest now. So I'm going to be looking at that. I will be sending out a signal for this if price does what I want it to do, probably tomorrow, if not Monday for sure. I'll be sending out a signal on this guy here if price does what I want it to do. So you can watch for that. Not going to talk about this one at all because price is, again, this is one of those ones where the price got away from you. You don't want to trade it because price is too high in the market. You don't know how high it's going to go. So we discussed Bitcoin, and the last one I want to talk about here before I end this session is cocoa. I put a trade on cocoa. This is a demo account. This isn't a live trade. This is just a level where you can see where I got on. So what I was talking to you about earlier is that break and retest strategy. This is a prime example. So I got long right here on that candle right there. And what I was looking for, price came down, traded down, took out an old low right here. See that? Old low. Price trades away from there. Creates a high. Comes all the way back down. Just peeks its head below. Takes out the low. Bam. Big bullish candle up. Next one up, up, up. 3 bullish candles up. Makes a new high. Price trades. But now, ideally, had I seen this at the time, this was actually the candle that made me think about this. Because after because it was kind of in a consolidation period right here, so I was thinking maybe they wanted to keep dropping it lower. This was their telltale sign right here, in my opinion. This candle right here, the wick. What this candle right here basically tells me is that these guys are sending this higher. This candle right here. They drove it up, and then they had the chance to drive it right down with this candle, and they chose not to. It ended up being a doji, and then price nicely traded away from it. So that was sort of the telltale sign that this was going to go higher. Now, where I wanted to get in, again, this whole break and retest, so it's in this consolidation period right here. It's chopping sideways, and I'll just put another one right here, just to kind of show you what I mean. This is sort of the consolidation area I was looking at in here. Price was chopping around in here, and it finally traded out of it. And I wanted to get in, and I'll just move this right here so you can see the wick. When price came down and slammed into this guy right here, this is where I was getting long. When this was a big bullish candle, I was getting long on that candle. That was last Friday. Monday, this market was closed. This was Tuesday's trading. And then finally, this was Wednesday's trading. And you can see the explosive move out of here. My initial target on this guy is actually right up and back into the consolidation area right here. I'm going to take a portion of my trade off at that level here and watch what price does. Ultimately, my main goal will be right up here. The price is typically bullish for cocoa for the first 2 months of the trading year, so I don't want to be holding this any longer than the middle of February, to be honest with you. But I don't think it's going to take that long for price to get up to these levels here. So this was a great trade, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys just some of the way that I trade, just so you can kind of understand. And this will be a bit of a swing trade. I'll probably hold this for a week or two, I would say, on the short end, just depending on how long it takes. I didn't honestly expect a big bullish candle like this today. I thought it would have taken a little bit more time. 1 second, I'm just going to get a sip of water. I didn't think the price was going to be give me this reaction like it did today. Super happy it did. I mean, a huge profit on this candle today. But ultimately, my target is up into here. It's not exactly that right there or anything like that, but it's it's 2030 is what my target is. My first take profit level. So great trade on cocoa. But yeah, that's like I say, that break and retest. Price broke out of here, came back down, retested, and I'll just drop down to an hourly so you can see what I mean. This was the candle that I bought. Sorry, that's not the candle that I bought. That was the candle that gave me the opinion that this was going to go higher. The actual candle that I bought, this was Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday. This was the day that I took the trade. So price slammed down into here, and just because of the spread, I didn't get the exact low of the market. I got in right about this candle right here. So I was actually looking, see this gap right here? You may not be able to see it with these shaded boxes too well, but there's a bit of a gap right in here. I was looking for a gap fill, plain and simple, and I think I got it somewhere right around the low of this candle to the mid-range of this candle right in here. Switch over to this guy here. So I kind of got it right here, and then the spread just put me at 1910 is where I ended up getting in. So, and you can see just an explosive move off of today. Super happy to see that. So that's kind of the trading that I do. It's not, you know, get in guns a-blazing right away and hope for the best and cross your fingers and hope the trade goes in your favor. It's very calculated. It's precise. It's precision, and it's patience. Like I say, I was watching this market for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a week prior, and I just happened to get a good entry. I saw this gap right here, and then I saw this entry into last week, and I was thinking, yep, that's the one, and took it, and away we go. So anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I got to say. I'm talked out. I've been on this for about an hour and a half. Just revisit this Euro trade quickly. That's what I like to see. Nice big bull candle coming up. Zoom in a little bit. Nice rejection off of that 122. Well, I guess 2200 level. I guess. What was the high on this candle? 122.09. You know, call it 122.10. Nice reaction off that level. So I want to see that continue. I do not want to see if price doesn't go. Let me put it this way, guys. If I see price trading, I don't know if you took a trade. I don't want to know. It doesn't matter to me. If you did take a trade, if price does not go lower than right here, 21, you know what, you could even call it 21. Yeah, you know, I'm going to call it 21.85. If price doesn't want to get any lower than 21.85, so if it just sits here and it just and it kind of goes sideways, again, I don't know what it's going to do. I'm hoping it goes down, but if price doesn't want to see any willingness to go below 121.85, I'm going to kill the trade, because it's going to want to go higher. So just kind of keep that in mind. But I think I got a pretty nice short in here. So we'll see how this pans out. I'm curious to find out. But anyway, that is it for me. I'm going to close down this session now. I appreciate your time and your patience. Another hour and a half in the books. I think we got some good insight out there. And hopefully it helped your trading a little bit, give you some, just another opinion, you know, another bias out there, maybe some unconventional thinking. I don't know what you typically plug into on a regular basis, but you got my thoughts on it, and we will be doing the exact same thing next Tuesday. Same time, same place, same URL. I'll have it posted in my Instagram, and on f45trading.com I'll tweet it and I will post it to Facebook. So you can easily get access. The quickest way though, like I say, just come on down and click our logo in the bottom, click on subscribe, join our YouTube channel, and then you'll get instant updates of when we go live on the next one. So you just click, open it up, and away you go. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it if you've made it this far, and we will talk to you next Tuesday, 12 a.m. New York time for another in-depth market analysis and trading session. Thank you.